Imagine a woman walks into a hospital, her arm is broken, there is a burden on her face. The doctor asks what happened. She smiled nervously and said, I fall down the stairs. The doctor write it down, no question asked. But here is the truth. She did not fall. She was pushed, and this happens every single day in every corner of the world. One in three women globally have experienced physical or sexual violence in their lifetime. That is not just a statistic, it's your neighbor, your colleague, maybe even someone in your family. But here is what makes this even more tragic. Most of them will never speak up, they will carry the pain in silence, hidden behind closed doors, buried under shame and fear. Alright, let's start with the basic. What exactly is the domestic violence? Most people think it's just about hitting or physical fight, but domestic violence, it's so much more than that. It's a pattern of behavior where one person tries to control, dominate, and harm other person they are in a relationship with, and it comes in many forms. Physical abuse, it's an obvious one. Hitting, slapping, choking, pushing, pulling hairs, anything that causes physical harm. It's a type of violence you see in movies, and yes, it's very real. Then emotional abuse, it's one invisible, but it cuts deeper than any punch. It's cast insults, humiliation, threats, making someone feel like they are crazy or worthless. Imagine living with someone who tell you every day that you are useless, that one will give ever love you, they will lucky even with you. That's emotional trauma. Financial control is when someone control all the money. They wouldn't let their partner work. They monitor every rupee, every dollar spent. The victim has no financial independence. They cannot leave because they literally cannot afford to. And here is the thing, domestic violence does not happen once and stop. It's like a circle. It's built over time. It traps people and it destroys, then from the inside out. But you might be thinking, okay, but if it's so bad, why don't people just leave? Great question, and that is exactly what we are going to talk about next. So why don't we hear about domestic violence more? Why it is hidden? Because the world make it almost impossible for victims to speak up. First, their shame. Society has drilled into our heads that what happened at stay at home. Don't air your dirty laundry in public. You have thought that admiring abuse means admitting failure as a spouse, failure as a parent, failure as a person. Then there is a pressure of society. Imagine you are a woman in a traditional community. You speak up about your husband's violence. What happened? People start talking. She must have done something wrong. She is trying to run her reputations. What kind of wife complains about her husband? Victim blaming is real, and that is everywhere. Fear of divorce. In many cultures, divorce is seen as a limited shame. Women especially are told their whole lives that marriage is forever. That they need to adjust, that they need to compromise. Even if they compromise means tolerating abuse, there is always cultural pressure. Elders say things like every marriage has problems and you need to be passionate. And think about the children. The pressure to stay home, to endure, to sacrifice, it's suffocating. And let's not forget the lack of support system. Many victims did not have anyone to turn to. No shelter nearby, no hotliners, no friends who understand. They are isolated, trapped, and alone. So domestic violence stay hidden. No, not because it's rare, but because the world isn't ready to see it. Alright, this is the question everyone asks. Why don't they just leave? If you have never been in an abusive relationship, This might seem simple, but let me tell you, it's anything that but simple. Fear of financial insecurity. Many victims don't have jobs. They have been isolated from work for years. They have no savings, no income. Where will they go? How will they survive? How will they feed their children? Children's safety is a lot of victims stay because they are afraid of what the abusers might do to their kids. If I leave, will he take them away? Will he hurt them? Is it better to stay and protect them? Emotional manipulations, abusers are expert at this. After a violent episode, they apologize, they cry, they beg for forgiveness. They promise they will change. I love you. I will never do it again. Please don't leave me. I and the victim believe them because they want to believe them. No family support. Imagine trying to leave and your own family tell you to go back. That's about your reputation. What will people say? You made a commitment. This happens more often than you think. Hope that abuser will change. Victim told on the memory of who their parents used to be. The persons they fall in love with. They think if I just try harder, if I am more patient, maybe they will become that person again. And then there are the threats. If you leave, I will kill you. I will hurt your parents. I will make sure you never see your children again. These aren't empty threats. The dangerous time of victim is when they decide to escape. So when someone asks why don't they just leave, the answer is because leaving would cost them everything, including their life. Let's talk about the domestic violence does to a person. Mental victims develop secure in anxiety and depression. They live in a constant fear. They cannot relax. They cannot trust. Many experience PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, flashbacks, nightmares, panic attacks. The trauma does not end when the violence stops. They lost all the confidence, fear of being told they are worthless. That destroys self-esteem. Victims start believing the lies. They think they deserve the abuse. They think they are not capable of living independently. Physically, the damage is obvious: broken bones, scars, bloods. But here is more: chronic pains, headaches, digestive issues, heart problems. The body keeps the score. Trauma lives in the body long after the wounds heal. Their careers suffer. How can you force at work when you are terrified of doing home? Many victims lose job, miss opportunity and fall into financial runs. But here is not just the victim who suffer, the child suffer too. Growing up in a violent home that is traumatic, even the child isn't physically harmed. Just witnessing the violence is enough to cause deep psychological damage. Children exposed to domestic violence often develop anxiety and fear-based personality. They are always on edge, always waiting for the next fight. They struggle with trust. They have nightmares. Many develop behavioral issues, aggressive withdrawals, trouble at school. They cannot concentrate. They act out because they don't know how to process what they are seeing at home. And here is the breaking part: children learn from what they see. If a boy grow up watching his father abusing his mother, he learns that this is how men treats women. If a girl grow up watching her mother endorse abuse, she learns that this is what love looks like. The cycle continues. Traumas get passed through generations. These children grow up with lower mental development, learning difficulties, and future relationship problems. The damage lasts a lifetime. You cannot ignore the children. They are silent victims and they need protection just as much as the adults. Now let's address something important. Most dramatic violence is committed by men. That is a fact. But this isn't about attacking men. It's about understanding why. Men are raised in a patriarchal system that teach them that they should be in control. They should be the head of the household. They should dominate emotions, weakness, vulnerabilities, and unexpectable. So when they feel powerless, when life does not go their way, they lash out. Many men face stress and financial pressure. They feel like failures if they cannot provide, and instead of taking about it, instead of seeking help, they explode. They take it out on the people closest to them. Most men carry childhood traumas. They watched their father beat their mother. They were beaten themselves. They were never healthy ways to express anger, frustration, or sadness. The problem isn't masculinity itself, it's toxic masculinity. The idea that men must be taught unemotional and dominate, that asking for help is weak, the violence is strength. We need to change this. We need to teach boys that real strength is in the kindness, empathy, and respect. The emotions are human. That asking for help is courageous because when we heal men, we protect everyone. Here is something that does not get talked about enough. Men can be victim too. Yes, it's less common, but it happens, and when it does, society completely ignore it. Male victims face emotional abuse, constant humiliation, insults, controlling behavior. They face physical attacks, and yes, women can be violent too. But the biggest problem, the societal shame. Men are laughed at if they admit they are being abused. What kind of men are you? You let a woman beat you? Man up, man. You are virtually no support system for male victims. No shelters, no hotlines, no empathy, just silence and mocking. Domestic violence is about power and control, no, not gender. But we need to support all victims regardless of who they are. So why does the system protect victims? Because the system is broken. Legal processes are painfully slow. Cases drag on for years. Victims cannot afford lawyers. They cannot afford to wait. Police often don't take a domestic violence seriously. They call it a family matter. They tell victims to work it out at home. In some places, police are part of the problem. They are corrupt and they don't believe the victim, or they are friends with the abusers. These are a severe lack of shelter where a victim support to go. Most cities don't have enough safe houses, and the ones that exist are overcrowded and underfunded. There is family honor pressure. Community blames victim. They tell them to stay quiet to protect the family's reputation. The victim becomes the villain for speaking up. The system fails because society isn't decided that domestic violence is a priority, and until we demand change, nothing will change. So what you do if someone you know is being abused? First, listen without judging. Don't say, you, why don't you just leave? That is not helpful. Just listen, believe them, validate for feeling, ensure professional help, therapists, counselors, legal advisor, help them find resources, help them create a safe place. Where will they go if they need to leave? Who can they call? What documents do they need? Provide emotional support. Let them know you have there for them. That they are have not alone. That there is not their fault, and it's crucial. Do not force them to leave immediately. Leaving is dangerous. It has to be their decision on their timeline. Your job is to support, not to push. Sometimes the best thing you can do is to just to be present, be patient, be kind. So how do you stop this? How do we end domestic violence? It starts with education. We need to teach young people about healthy relationship, what consent means, what respect look like, how to communicate without violence. We need to teach boys emotional intelligence. Let them cry, let them talk about their feelings, stop feeling telling them to be a man, and start teaching them to be a human. We need stronger laws, fast tracking courts for domestic violence case. In any case, punishment for abusers, better protection for women. We need support centers in every city, every town, free legal aids, free medical aids, safe shelter hotlines that actually work. And we need awareness campaign. Talk about it, normalize the conversation. Stop treating domestic violence like a shameful secret. Change does not happen overnight, maybe, but it can happen if you decided it matters. If you found this video helpful, thank you for watching and see you in the next one.